Sunday. I believe it's Sunday for everyone. That is a very bright light. That is not okay. Oh, hopefully everyone's having a wonderful day. A couple minutes, let people all gather in, and then we will start running through some updates for everyone. And then once we get some updates out there, what is going on? Gabriel, hope you're having a good day. But like I said, once some more people start swinging in, I have some STI updates for everyone. I've got some general life stuff with everything going on. Love your vids. Hey, man, what is going on, everyone? Woo! Woo, it's a beautiful day today. Look at it. Look at how bright that is. Blinding. Got to go doing some media stuff full time. So it's been extremely busy prepping the house to be sold here in the next couple of weeks as well. But I am stoked at the new place that we are going. We are getting somewhere with a bigger garage. So no longer will we have 1 inch of space in the garage. So it'll be nice. Happy Easter to everyone also. I don't know what everyone does on Easter, but hopefully everyone's having a good time with that. What else we got going on? Finally, a part of the live chat. Welcome to the live chat. It's very exciting. Just ordered nameless twin circuit downpipe. I'm guessing this divorced downpipe is 50s. If you want anything more than that, I would suggest 1300s. IDs are really good injectors I would suggest doing, or FIC, Fuel Injector Clinic, also some very good injectors. First time here. Well, welcome to the live stream. So I have some STI updates for everyone. We are going to start tearing apart the STI this coming Friday evening. So I have gotten in the last of the parts needed for the STI. So we're going to start tearing it down. We're going to start building it. I'm going to call surge line tuning this week. I'm going to get the tune scheduled so that way we can get the car on the dyno once we get everything on the car. So it's going to be very exciting. We have a lot of install. Quick recap then. Injectors, ID 1050 is good for like 400 wheel horsepower, a little bit past that. ID 1300s, probably going to be what you're wanting if you're going to be wanting more than 400 wheel horsepower. I'm planning to buy an STI, and I have two options, 2016. Hi. I see you. I know. Everyone else sees you too, bud. Okay. I will take you for a walk when I'm done. I promise. Jeez. 2016 STI, 32K miles, 33, 2018 STI. Chill. Go chill for a minute. I would get the 2016. It is cheaper. Actually, yeah, it's like 6K cheaper. Dude, go lay down for like 5 minutes. I promise. I would get the red one. You are going to end up saving money. There's not a huge difference in the 16 or what was it? 16? Yeah, 16 versus 18, unless you are wanting those bigger calipers. If you can find a 19 for a good price, I would suggest that one. But it's just a 6K price tag difference. And if you can get them to go lower on that 16 STI, I would suggest doing that. What's a good website to get STI cosmetics? As Front Lips, Rally Sport Direct, and Mod Garage, where I order all of my cosmetic parts and engine parts. So I would suggest both of those websites. Recommend an eBay front mount? No, I don't recommend an eBay front mount. It's dicey, it's risky. You don't know if it's going to fit right. You don't even know if the piping is going to be bent right. If it's like a reputable brand being sold on eBay, then go for it. But if it is just like XX tunings, front mount intercooler for GD chassis STI, I'd probably stay away. The couplers are also probably going to be trash. Your clamps are going to be trash. So just make car. I'm not sure who Bobby is. Hopefully Bobby's good. About to do the 6-speed full STI swap on my 03 Bug-Eye. Everything from the trans to Brimbos. Any tips? It's not going to be fun. I can tell you that now, but it'll be worth it in the end. Make sure everything is torqued down properly. You don't want that time to go back through double check. The last thing you want is to be able to get everything swapped into the car, go out for a drive, and then you have something come off because it's not torqued down properly or anything like that. Outside of that, it's going to be pretty plug and play. It's pretty easy to swap over. It's going to bolt right up. You'll love it. Love it. I'm actually kind of jealous of Bug-Eye with a 6-speed. Fun. I think it had a 1.5 XTR on it. I think chooched. I'm about to install my exhaust headers, charge pipe, intake turbo inlet, etc., bypass valve, and AOS. Want to know what tools you recommend? This will be my first time working on my 2016 WRX. I actually made a video on what tools you need for almost anything you're doing. Everything that you just said you're going to be doing. Go back to that video. I think it's 20 tools for almost any job on a WRX or STI that will literally cover you through everything that you're going to be doing on that car. And I think you can pick up all those tools for about $100 to $150 for everything, and you're going to be set for pretty much any other install you have coming. Do lug nut brands matter as long as they're correct size? Brands doesn't matter. Material does matter. You don't want to get I'd advise staying away from aluminum lug nuts. They're really easy to strip out, and if you strip out a lug nut onto a wheel stud, you're not going to have a good time. You're either going to have to bash a socket. I don't suggest getting aluminum lug nuts. Brand-wise, doesn't really matter. Just make sure the material is a solid material that's not going to warp, destroy the wheel stud, or you destroy the lug nut with an impact or anything like that. Everyone else stream lagging? Hopefully it's not lagging. I'm doing what I can. Best $200 or less mod other than shifter stuff. The shifter stuff is the good stuff, but best 200. Well, what are you looking for out of the mod? Because there's a lot of mods you can get for under $200 that are going to do a lot of different things. So, Ryan, give me a little more specifics on what you're looking for a mod under $200, because I can give you a huge list for under $200 mods. Are you going to change the clutch? If so, what clutch are you going to run? Right now, I'm not going to change the clutch. I'm going to run the OEM clutch in the car. When it does come time to swap the clutch, I'm either going to run the ACT series clutches I have actually going to make after we get it onto the dyno, and that's going to be the real determining factor of what clutch we're going to end up going with in the future. So it'll probably be an ACT clutch, just don't know what series yet. Driver mods, already got the shifter mods. Ooh, $200. You got $200 for a driver mod. You don't want any shifter stuff. Let me swing back to that question because there's a lot of stuff. So we'll come back to that question, Ryan. Let me think on it for a minute. Do you recommend wheel spacers? I hear mixed reviews. I have absolutely no problem with wheel spacers. I run wheel spacers on my 2017 STI. I will not run bolt-on spacers though. I will not do it. If you are going to run spacers, make sure you do it right. Get extended wheel studs, have them come out, use hub-centric spacers that are actually going to sink onto that hub bore, so that way you don't have any play in that spacer. So if you are going to do it, make sure you are getting extended wheel studs, a hub-centric spacer that actually matches the same diameter as everything, so that way you're not getting any play. I would steer away from any bolt-on spacers though. That's where I kind of draw the line. But if you are going to do spacers, just do it the right way. Ideally, if you can get the wheels the proper size, I would suggest getting the proper size wheels. But sometimes you order wheels, sometimes they don't always fit, and it can be an issue. So if you are going to run spacers, just do it that way. What are differences in sizes of ETS intercooler? Which would you recommend? So the major differences in sizes of ETS intercoolers is just going to be the core size. That's going to be the real determining factor of how much horsepower you're going to be pushing. So if you're going to want something that's around like 400 horsepower, 450, 500, it's going to all play into that core size. I run the 3.5-inch intercooler just because I got it on sale when I was buying my intercooler last year. But that one is going to be good for about, I believe it was like 4 to 450 wheel horsepower. So the core size is just going to go in correlation with whatever your horsepower requirements are going to be. The chat is blowing up. I'm blowing up. I appreciate everyone swinging out too. It's a good day to swing out. Ever heard of an STI intake or TGV wrap warp crack currently chasing the leak? I've never heard of a TGV cracking before. I know on some of the cheaper material ones out there, it is a possibility, especially with a lot of the heat soak going on so close to the block. I mean, it's probable. I've never heard of it. If you are chasing a leak, I would probably start with a smoke test. Actually, if I was chasing down a leak anywhere in there, see if you can see anything coming out. Maybe it's not the TGV. I doubt it would be the intake manifold. I've never seen an intake manifold crack either. They're relatively strong. So I would just start with doing a smoke test through the car and seeing if you can visually see any of the leaks, or try pressure testing it and seeing if you can audibly hear wherever it might be coming from. Recommended torque app, or just use the gauge? Torque app. What you're trying to measure like how much torque you're getting out of the car? I mean, the access port gives like, I think, a range, but that thing is not accurate at all. Dyno is going to be your best way to go for reading torque. Outside of that, there's not really going to be anything that's pretty accurate when it comes to like mobile device reading torque, or like those ECU plug-in things. I haven't seen any of them that are even remotely close to what they should be. Actually, we're going to test that. That's a good question. We're going to test that. So I'll see if I can buy a couple ones, and we'll see if we're even in like a usable range. So we'll actually do that. We'll do that coming up here soon. That'll be a good one. Decent camera you consider. How's Washington State when it comes to loud exhausts? I've never actually been pulled over for exhaust tone. The only things that I ever really got pulled over for was not running. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. So no, don't bark. That was just me knocking on the desk. No, you're good. You're good. You're good guard dog. Hi, love you. Thanks, Cameron. You're gonna love all you guys. You guys are awesome. Just purchased a Grimspeed master cylinder brace for my 2010 STI. Any tips or tricks for install? Does the fender liner need to be removed to tighten the bolts? I believe there's one bolt that you're going to have to remove the fender liner to tighten. It is a little bit of a pain when it comes to installing those, but I promise you the reward is worth it. Ryan, coming back to your question about a mod under $200, that's worth it. Actually, that master brake cylinder and stainless steel brake lines, under two. I think you can pick up both of those mods for under $200, and they will greatly improve the braking feel of the car. One of my favorite ones. Consider getting Access Tuner and doing your own tune. I have considered it, and we will actually probably attempt something like that on the BRZ. The STI is a little too fragile for me, and I don't want to go balls to the wall with the STI and potentially risk blowing it up, because I don't fully understand the tuning aspect of tuning a car fully right now. I have dabbled in the past looking into it of how to do it, but that is something that I do want to get into, is learning how to tune a car. I'm very DIY when it comes to everything that we do here on the channel. If I can avoid taking it to a shop and having a shop do anything on the car and I can do it myself, I'd rather. I'm totally down to try tuning the BRZ when it comes time for that. So I'll see if I can get an open source program to be able to go in there. I know Tactrix cables are a lot of ones that people use, but I don't know if the BRZ's CAN bus system will communicate with the Tactrix cable, so we'll play with it a little bit. Thought it was going to be on IG. Oh no, my bad. I guess I didn't say on when I did the thing. So all the live streams for actual the YouTube stuff are going to be over here instead of Instagram, just because there's more people over here on the YouTubes than there are on the Instagram, so it's consolidating. Oil recommendations for FA20. A lot of people overlook this oil, but it is actually one of my favorites that I actually run through the BRZ, and I've run it through the STI before, is the ENOS oil. 0820 is what I run through the BRZ. It's actually one of my favorite oils. It's a little more expensive, but it is it's a Japanese oil. And I personally, I just like it. I don't know if it's good or not. That is one of the oils we're going to be testing. And speaking of the shipping of some of that stuff, so they are doing some priority stuff and non-stuff right now. So after some businesses start to reopen, we are going to be doing that oil analysis video. I have the oil sample pulled already, ready to go. So that way, when Blackstone's, oh geez, my phone vibrated. So that way, when it does come time, we are going to send that over to Blackstone Labs and get that Motual oil analyzed, and then we'll continue through the oil cycle series and see what else we got going on. My bad. What you say about a good camera? Start with a Rebel T7i. It's a cheap camera. You can learn to use it pretty well if you've never used a DSLR before, and it's a good one to go. FA20 oil. That ENOS is for the FA20 also. I would highly suggest it. Who keeps texting me right now? Let's throw that right there. Hold on to that phone, doggo. You are in charge of the phone. Is an AOS recommended for a stock STI? Yes. Yes, an AOS is recommended for a stock STI. Mixed after the oil air vapor has mixed with the fuel, you could be seeing like 87 potentially. So I would highly suggest getting an AOS. Speaking of that, we are doing a dual catch with your AOS. Not a single one. Set it up. It's good to go. Never had it clog. We don't see temperatures cold enough for them to potentially freeze the drain line. That is one thing that IAG released, I think it was a year ago, when some people were getting hit with severely cold winters, is that people were running into the drain lines freezing. They have something on their Facebook. If you go on their Facebook and you search for it, it'll come up, and they kind of give an update of what's going on with it. Hey, man, I couldn't hear you. Remove the resonator if you want it just gnarly loud. The ETS Extreme is a really good one to go with if you do want it just severely loud. That's what I run on the car, and it's very loud. It is very loud. What's the best suspension for BRZ in your opinion? Thank you. So on my BRZ, we're going to be running coilovers on it. Like really balling on a budget, I would get like BC Racing. Generally, I tend to steer away from BC Racing because I've had 3 sets of their coilovers, and every single set has failed on me. And one tip is to put black electrical tape around the threads of the coilover, so that way you're not getting a whole bunch of like shmoo getting into the chamber, so that way it's not seizing on you, or at least it'll help prevent it. So that is one suggestion that I do end up. So I would advise doing if you're going to do it. Just having crackle flame tune, killing your AFRs because you're just dumping an excess amount of fuel. You're decreasing your fuel economy because you're dumping all of that excess fuel. And then with that fuel going through the exhaust system, if you have a catalytic converter, which you should, unless you're external wastegate and you're actually tuned to properly run catless, you're going to destroy your catalytic converter also. So, I mean, if you are in a state that has to go get emissions testing or vehicle inspection done, it's going to potentially fail. I wouldn't run it. But good question. I do see that one come up a lot, and I do see a lot of people running that tune. I mean, if you're gonna do it, just do it right. Just build the car, and all the pops and the cracks and the flames and everything will come with it. I promise you this. My connection is killing me. I'm sorry, Walter. Everyone's watching Netflix. They're Dory again. The lag is getting pretty bad. Hold up. I'm gonna turn off all of the internet in the house on my phone, so that way, hopefully, it improves the connection a little bit, and maybe it will be just marginally better, so it's not lagging as much. So let me block a couple things. Internet. No, I don't want to run a speed test. MacBook Pro. No. Anthros Communications. I don't know what that lives. I don't know what that is, but it's in the living room, so we're gonna block that too. Bedroom Echo. Why are all my Echoes sucking up internet right now? That doesn't even make sense. None 2. Okay, so all of everything in my house right now, except for the computer, has internet. So hopefully that does clear up connection speed a little bit for everyone else, so it's not lagging as bad. Anything else, every other device in the house, and it's all just going straight to this computer now. So hopefully it does make things better. How many times have I been pulled over, and for what? Good question. In the past 3 years, I've only been pulled over twice. One of them was because I was stupid and I tried to race a GTR in the freeway. I didn't win. Let's just say that. I won a ticket and the GTR still won. The other time was for having too dark of tint on the car. I ended up just getting off the warning, so super nice about that. But generally, I don't get pulled over too much. I don't get really reckless on the roads. I don't try to do anything risky to potentially get pulled over. I don't like paying tickets. And if I am going to beat on any of my cars, I'll either go up to the mountains where it's a little more okay, or I'll take it out to the track where it's 100% okay. With me leaving my job and having to reallocate some of my finances, depending on when the tune is scheduled for, will depend on if we get the headers or not. Just because the house is going up for sale, I will be making a little money off the house, but that is going to be paying off a little bit of debt. That way I can allocate doing, because that is one thing that I really want to get on the car before taking it to the dyno. So we'll find out. I don't know yet for sure, but we'll see once the house goes up on the market. Smee, you need better internet. Read that one. What's up, people? Welcome. New to the Subi world, I have a 17 STI access port and AEM cold air intake. What is a good OTS flash to load with the access port? OTS maps. OTS maps are okay. I would suggest a short RAM intake versus an actual cold air intake. But based off of personal experience, I've been in your position before. I've ran if you do want to run that, I would suggest getting either a short RAM intake or a Pro Tune. But I've done it before. I didn't have any major issues, so hopefully you don't either. TI, what is a good range for mileage and price on the car for anything to do between? So when it comes to buying the car, you're going to have huge variances. It's in where you're at geographically, the condition of the car, the mileage, and the price will correlate with that. Generally, Kelley Blue Book is pretty good geographically for what OEM oil for 2019 STI. It works. It's not the best oil on the market, but it definitely works. It's cost effective too. I'm pretty sure the OEM oil is pretty cheap. What external wastegate would you recommend to run better with the Grimspeed up pipe? Thanks. So I'm using the Grimspeed up pipe. I'm going to be using the Grimspeed 44mm external wastegate up pipe. I have it out in the shop, ceramic coated and everything like that. And I'm going to be using the tile. So when it comes to external, tile or Turbo Smart would be the two go-to external wastegates that I would suggest using. Looking to buy did I answer that one? Yeah, I did. Looking at a car, I'm currently 20, set for my goal when I'm 21, February 22. Anything to look out for when checking them out? What should I inspect? For a really deep insight into what you should look for, I did make that video of when it comes to purchasing a used STI or WRX, what you should look for. But ideally, you want to try to find one that is as stock as possible. Anything else off. So you could be getting a car that has just been Frankensteined back together without the proper tune and left some of the aftermarket parts behind without leaving the OEM ones as well. And Frankenstein put back together with half OEM parts, half aftermarket parts. Your AFRs are going to be all over the place. The car's not going to be happy at all. So if it does come down to you wanting to buy a used one, try to find one that is as stock as possible, especially coming into one that you don't know the EJ or the FA platform very well. Just make sure that you're getting a stock one, so that way you're not getting screwed over by the previous owner who may have pulled off some of the parts to sell them to get some money back. So just be careful when you are out there buying these parts. It can or when you are out there buying these cars, it can get pretty bad if you don't know what you're doing and what you're looking for. So just try to find one that's stock. Also, if you are up in like the northern regions or colder areas where they salt the roads, look inside of the fender arches. Generally, you'll see a lot of rust on there, especially the Subarus. The older ones are pretty bad for it also. So just make sure that you're looking out for rust. If you can get maintenance records also, start digging through those just to see how meticulous the previous for 2018 STI. That is heavily going to depend on budget and what you want. So you can get one-piece wheels, two-piece wheels, three-piece wheels if you want it. Also depends on what style of build you're going for. Personally, I like some of the lighter end one-piece wheels, or if it is a nicer one-piece wheel, kind of like the works on the STI, which are going to be coming off soon. I have another wheel option that's going to be going on to the STI. Personally, I really like work wheels. Graham lights are some that I've run in the past. Volks, I've run newer STIs with the bigger brakes. I would check out like Fitment Industries. They have that whole entire gallery of what wheels people have used in the past just to verify fitment. So I would suggest doing that. But there's so many options that you can go out there for wheels. Do you think it's worth it to STI swap an FA20 WRX, or should I just trade it in to get the EJ? If you honestly want an EJ or an STI, just sell the WRX and buy an STI. That's going to be my biggest recommendation to you. You're going to be spending more money and time swapping out that VA WR or that FA WRX. But there's a lot of different avenues there. The avenues that you can do there. Sorry, I meant STI trans. Okay, if it's just the trans, then yes, I do suggest doing that if you do want the trans. Someone actually made a YouTube video. I saw it when I was scrolling through my feed a couple days ago of swapping an STI trans into their WRX. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest, and I would suggest it if you do have the funds to be able to get that transmission. What else we got in here? Even though I don't have, it's fun to drive. It's still a little sporty. The paddle shifters, I don't quite understand. It's weird. It's fun though. Fun cars. Even if you don't have a WRX from STI, there's still you that saw the pictures on my Instagram. I did take the STI up at like the very top of a mountain, driving on some like dirt and gravel roads up there, and it was fun. But I think a cross track would have done significantly better. Have a 2011 WRX back to stock for daily. Where the knuckle is different on the WRX and the STI, so the actual bottom portion won't line up with the hubs. You might be able to get some just STI lower coilover. Jesus, I'm struggling today. Loyal coilover mounts that'll mount up to the hub appropriately. But outside of that, the rears will just bolt right in. The fronts will not. Hey, I'm getting yellow shit on my oil cap. Your PCV system. And then as it normally does, it'll condense up on the top of the oil cap. And when you get moisture condensing up on top of the oil cap, you're also getting that oil vapor that is in the PCV system and in the oiling system mixing with that. So what you're seeing is water, oil mixed sitting on the bottom of your oil cap. It's completely normal. It's not healthy for the car, though. It can get a little sludgy. Now, ideally, when it does drop back down into the oil, it should mix back into oil, but it is going to start to mess with things over time. It can clog up the PCV system. So if you do have an STI, you know that crossover tube that goes along the top of the intercooler, you'll see a whole bunch of like yellow shmoo building up in there. An air oil separator will definitely help mitigate that and reduce it. So will catch cans. It is normal, but I would suggest trying to resolve that as soon as possible, because that yellow stuff just doesn't look good at all. I don't know the first thing about custom tunes. How far can I go with the Cobb OTS map? It's going to depend on the car and what you have done to the car. So the VA chassis STI, you can only do in either an intake or a downpipe unless you're doing their stage 3 OTS, which comes with like all the fueling stuff as well. But if it's a 2015 plus STI, you can only do, like I said, either that intake or that downpipe. You can't run both because that fueling system just won't support it. Now, I have heard people bring up the MA performance tune where they say get a pro tune. But when it comes to OTS tunes, to other things, go onto the manufacturer's website of the tune and check out their little tune description box. It'll tell you exactly what you need to be able to run those OTS tunes. Generally, you won't see anything past like general fueling mods like injectors, fuel lines, and fuel. Appreciate the active, buddy. Keep killing the game. I appreciate it, man. I'm here for you guys to try to answer your guys' questions, doing this bi-weekly now. Just bought an access port on my 16W. It gets a little more power up in the top end. It's a lot more responsive. They're also a lot more fun to drive and louder. The FA sounds so good with a J pipe and a catback. It's a same company, two different entities. Tomei USA came out with these unequal length headers for the FAWRX. I personally think they're a waste of money. I wouldn't suggest anyone buy them. I know a lot of tuners out there don't suggest anyone buying them. Essentially what you're doing is you're taking the FA and you're bringing it backwards in performance. So doing that unequal length header on the FA engine, you're going to create hot spotting in cylinders 2 and 4 like you are in the STI with that unequal length header. You're losing performance. It's also a twin scroll turbo, which you're not supposed to be running unequal length headers on a twin scroll turbo. It's just you're losing efficiency. Those unequal length headers, waste of money. I'm like 99.9% positive any tuner out there would suggest not buying those as well. I don't even know why they made them. What's up, Smee fam? What up, homie? Hope you're having a good Sunday and a happy Easter to you. Happy Easter to everyone, actually, because I totally forgot it was Easter this morning until I went to get my coffee, and the line there was just exponentially long. I don't know why. So we're gonna take a break from questions for a minute. Update stuff for you guys. So, update on the STI. Like I said earlier in the live stream, we are going to be starting all of the installs on the STI this coming Friday, which means we're going to be doing that intake manifold removal. We're going to be doing fuel line installs, ethanol sensor installs, fuel pressure sensor install, external wastegate, up pipe, like a whole slew of things. I'm going to make a speed density video here soon also because a lot of people have been asking about speed density. We have that surge line tuning, tune the car again. I'm estimating the car is going to make around 400 wheel horsepower on probably like an E60, E70 mix of ethanol. So I'm going to be storing ethanol from the local army base here, JBLM, because that's like the closest place I can buy ethanol. So I'm going to be storing it there if I can snag them. But right now the plan is to be using that stock turbo. If I can get another turbo, I would ideally like to swap that one on there. Oh my God, I got like a hair in my mouth. Ugh. I call her back in a minute. So it's going to be a blast. I am super excited to get the car on the dyno. It's going to make more than I'm expecting. I already know that. Going all in on the YouTube stuff, which also I wanted to be more engaged with everyone who is, I mean, I wish I could do it like across the world, thing like that. I want to be a lot more attached to everyone in the community and be a lot more available for everyone. It's getting a little difficult with all the Instagram messages to questions like this, and we're going to continue to do live streams. I just accidentally sent 2 coffees. I appreciate the coffees, my dude. Anything helps. But it is going to be awesome. I am anticipating the STI to get on the dyno down at Surgeline Tuning probably late May, early April is when they're the dyno, because when you get down there, the tuners are going to go through. They're going to do an extensive pass through of the engine to make sure that everything is okay before they put it on the dyno, because lines as well, which is going to be a fun one. I like Vibrant that I generally use for everything like that. So those custom lines are going to be a fun one to be able to go through the car and actually start making for the oil cooler and some of the fuel line stuff. Could you turbo a MAR mount? MAR mount? What is a MAR mount? Matt. Hello, Matt. You dude. Matt's my current coworker. Wasn't expecting to see you here, my friend. What else do we got up in here? Yeah, I saw the video. I was intrigued. Just worried I would swap the trans and still be craving more power. I know personally I'll be happy with the power that the car makes for like a week, and then I'm gonna be like, all right, I want more. And then there's going to be a whole nother plan to start making more power on the STI. And it's an endless cycle of just power. So, I mean, you could pump as much power as you want into the car, and it's just going to keep coming up that I'm going to be shooting here this coming week. So Friday the 17th is my last day that I actually go to work. After that, I will be doing all of this full time. So we're going to be doing every other day uploads for everyone. So I have a lot. I've like a list. Actually, do I have the book? I do have the book. I've got this entire book almost filled up with video ideas. So I am so stoked to start getting some of these topics and debates out for everyone. I'm also always open to any ideas that everyone else has if anyone does want any information covered. So it's going to be, I'm so excited. I'm just so excited for it. It is absolutely terrifying, though, going to the, they're going to push for as much power as that car will make. It only has to make a lot of power on one run, and then from that, we can dial it back a little bit. But I do want to see how much power that car will make. It's a small, furry creature. You would say that. I wish I could send you gifts through this chat. You're not getting any gifts, Matt. You can text me the gifts. You will experience some potential for the cracks in the, or for the for the welds in the pitch stop mount to crack. So if you are 2015 to 2017 WRX, I would highly suggest getting that pitch stop mount brace with the actual pitch stop, or else you could crack the firewall. Now, Subaru is get corrected. It'll be a couple weeks before you actually get the car back, and they could potentially deny the claim if you are putting in a larger pitch stop mount, which would increase the chances of those, but it's not going to. If I were to do a Pro Tune, could I go without the access port? Also, the Radium AOS was a pain. I'm about to do the Radium catch cans in the BRZ, and I'm anticipating them to be hopefully not a pain. They look pretty straightforward. However, when it comes to not using an access port, there are tuners out there who don't use access ports to tune the cars. However, almost any port, if you can find a used one that is verified unmarried, I would suggest grabbing one of those, because you can pick up some used access ports for like $450. So you're not spending that $650. Good savings. Are you going to run some regular gas periodically when running E85? I've been running E78 for a while and haven't stopped. I am very much anticipating ethanol to be addicting, but it's also about a half-hour drive just for me to go get ethanol also. So it's going to be a periodic thing. We're not going to be running ethanol all of the time, but we are going to be running ethanol probably 20 to 30% of the time, just whenever we want to go out and actually have a lot of fun on the car more efficiently. You will see like a fuel mileage increase. You'll see horsepower gains coming back. So just make sure you are going back through and cleaning off those valves. Walnut blasting, it's pretty easy to do it yourself. You cannot redlining occasionally will cause an STI carbon buildup. I redline my car all the time. Like, I don't just like sit there like without load on the car. Like, if I'm going to redline it, I'm going to do it on the freeway when I'm getting on like an on-ramp, but I occasionally redline mine as well. I think it does help push out some of the buildup that might be in there, especially once everything starts opening up and you get a lot more fuel. So I wouldn't do it in first. Please don't do it in fifth or sixth, because you will get pulled over and you will get a ticket and you could potentially go to jail. So don't do that. Got an access port. Access ports are honestly a really good way to go. Matt Smith, some hand sanitizer. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that. Anyone having lagging issues? I cut off all the internet to all the other devices in the house, so hopefully nothing else is lagging. But with that, I am going to be hopping off here. We are going to be doing another live stream in 2 weeks today. So with that, I hope everyone has a happy Easter, and I will see you guys later.